August 15th, 1945. Japan surrenders. But the generals didn't celebrate. Instead, they said something that shocked Washington. Something that changed everything we thought we knew. MacArthur's first words weren't about victory. They were about a secret directive. Eisenhower discovered classified documents the same day, documents Japan tried to destroy. And there was a third message, one that never made it to the history books. What they found that morning would rewrite the entire Pacific War. The secret directive. August 15th, 1945. Japan surrenders. The war is over. General Douglas MacArthur stands in his Manila headquarters. He reads the surrender telegram. But he doesn't smile. He doesn't celebrate. Instead, he picks up a phone. He calls Washington immediately. What he says shocks everyone in the room. We need to move fast before they destroy everything. MacArthur had received a secret directive 3 days earlier, a directive from President Truman himself. It wasn't about celebrating victory. It was about something else entirely. Something the American public couldn't know yet. The directive had one word underlined twice: evidence. MacArthur turns to his officers. Gentlemen, the surrender is just the beginning. Our real mission starts now. But what mission? What was so urgent that victory celebrations had to wait? The answer was hidden in Tokyo, and time was running out. Eisenhower's discovery. The same day, across the Pacific, General Dwight Eisenhower receives an urgent cable. It's from intelligence officers in Guam. They've intercepted something, Japanese communications that were supposed to be destroyed. Eisenhower reads the decoded message. His face goes pale. He immediately orders a blackout. No press, no announcements, total silence. His chief of staff asks what's wrong. Eisenhower doesn't answer immediately. He just hands him the paper. The message reveals Japanese officials are burning documents, thousands of documents, in every major city across Japan. But it's not just any documents. These are records of decisions made during the war, records that could change everything. Eisenhower knows what this means. If those documents burn, the truth burns with them. He sends an urgent message to MacArthur: stop the burning, whatever it takes. But was he already too late? Were the most important documents already ash? The third message. There was a third communication that day, one that most historians never mention. Admiral Chester Nimitz, commander of the Pacific Fleet, sends a coded message, not to Washington, not to MacArthur, to a small team of intelligence officers whose names don't appear in any official records. The message contains coordinates, a location in northern Japan, and 3 words: retrieve before sunrise. What was at those coordinates? Nimitz never wrote it down. He never filed an official report. But he told his closest aide something chilling. If the Soviets get there first, we've lost more than the war. The team arrives at the location before dawn. It's a military research facility, abandoned, or so it seems. Inside, they find filing cabinets, still full. The Japanese hadn't reached this location yet. The officers start reading, and what they discover makes them physically sick. But they keep loading documents into trucks because the world needed to know, even if the truth was unbearable. MacArthur's first words. MacArthur lands in Japan on August 30th, 15 days after surrender. The cameras are rolling. The world is watching. Everyone expects a victory speech. But his first official words aren't about triumph. They're about justice. We come not as conquerors, but as enforcers of international law. Strange words for a victory. Why not celebration? Why not glory? Because MacArthur had already read the preliminary reports from intelligence teams spreading across Japan, reports that documented systematic atrocities. He knew what was coming, the trials, the evidence, the reckoning. In private, MacArthur tells his staff something revealing. The easy part is over. Now comes the hard part, making them face what they did. He establishes the International Military Tribunal immediately, before celebrations, before parades, before anything else. Why such urgency? Because evidence was disappearing. Every hour that passed, more documents burned, more witnesses disappeared, more truth vanished. The race against time had begun, and MacArthur was determined to win it.
What they found in Tokyo. Within 48 hours, American teams reach Tokyo. The city is devastated, rubble everywhere. But that's not what shocks them. It's the smoke. Thick, black smoke rising from government buildings, from military headquarters, from hospitals. They're burning everything. One intelligence officer, Captain Robert Textor, reaches the War Ministry. He kicks down doors, runs through hallways. He finds a room, fires burning in metal drums, officers feeding papers into flames. Textor pulls his weapon. Step away, now. He manages to save about 30% of the documents. The rest, already ash. But what he does save changes everything. These documents detail orders. Orders from the highest levels of Japanese command. Orders for medical experiments. Orders for prisoner treatment. Orders that violated every rule of war. Textor ships everything to MacArthur immediately. MacArthur reads through the night. By morning, he knows the trials won't be simple. They'll be necessary, essential, unavoidable. The Soviet race. But America wasn't alone in the evidence hunt. The Soviet Union was racing too. Stalin wanted his own trials, his own justice, his own version of history. Soviet troops sweep through Manchuria, through Korea, through every territory Japan held. They're looking for the same thing Americans are looking for: proof, evidence, documents. But they want it for different reasons. Stalin doesn't want justice. He wants leverage. American intelligence realizes this quickly. If Soviets control the evidence, they control the narrative. MacArthur sends urgent cables to Washington. We need more men, more teams, more resources. The Soviets are everywhere. Truman approves everything immediately. This isn't just about Japan anymore. It's about the next war, the Cold War. Whoever controls the evidence controls post-war Asia. Whoever controls the truth controls the future. The race intensifies. American and Soviet teams sometimes arrive at the same locations within hours of each other. Sometimes they cooperate. Sometimes they compete. Always, they're searching. The message that changed everything. September 11th, 1945. 3 weeks after surrender, MacArthur receives the most important communication yet. It's from an intelligence team in Osaka. They found something bigger than anyone expected. A complete archive, hidden in a basement, untouched, unburned. The archive contains everything. meeting minutes from cabinet sessions, direct orders from Emperor Hirohito, communications with Nazi Germany. Most importantly, it contains plans. Plans for biological warfare. Plans for attacks on American cities. Plans that were never executed. But they were approved. They were ordered. They were ready. MacArthur reads through the archive for days. He doesn't sleep much. He can't. He finally makes a decision that will define his legacy, a decision that splits his own staff. He decides to spare Emperor Hirohito from prosecution, not because of mercy, but because of stability. If Hirohito falls, Japan collapses. If Japan collapses, the Soviets move in. If Soviets move in, Asia burns. So he protects the emperor while prosecuting everyone else. A controversial choice, a pragmatic choice, a choice that still sparks debate today. What we learned. The Tokyo trials begin in May 1946. They last 2.5 years. 28 Japanese leaders are prosecuted. 7 are executed. 16 receive life sentences. But the trials reveal more than individual guilt. They reveal systematic planning, institutional brutality, calculated atrocities. American High Command didn't just accept surrender. They documented it. They investigated it. They prosecuted it. They turned military victory into legal precedent. They established that leaders can be held accountable, that following orders isn't an excuse. The Nuremberg trials did this in Europe. Tokyo trials did it in Asia. General MacArthur's final statement at the trials is often forgotten, but it matters. We are not here for vengeance. We are here for justice. We are here to establish that no nation, no leader, no army is above basic human morality. Those words echoed beyond Japan, beyond 1945, beyond that generation. They became the foundation for international law, for human rights conventions, for the idea that the world can judge its own. What American High Command said after Japan's surrender wasn't just about ending one war. It was about preventing the next one. The American High Command Japan surrender statement wasn't just celebration. Truman's announcement and General MacArthur's speech emphasized unconditional surrender, Japan meaning. The USS Missouri Japan surrender ceremony formalized Japan's surrender terms Allied forces demanded. The Potsdam Declaration set conditions. Hirohito's role after surrender preserved stability. U.S. reaction to Japan's surrender World War II mixed justice with strategy. World War II end Pacific Japan surrender marked victory, but also accountability's beginning.